What's up, YouTube family? And on today's episode of Keeping It Real Politics, we're going to talk about the absolute shams that were the 2020 Democrat and Republican National Conventions. For those that did not watch either or both of them, consider yourselves very lucky. You dodged a bullet, but I'll give you a quick summary of them to let you know you didn't miss anything. The Democrat National Convention was the week of August 17th through the 20th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, at the Wisconsin Center. It was socially distanced. They had a lot of video packages of people speaking about the Democrat nominee, which is Joe Biden, and his running mate Kamala Harris. But long story short, it was completely devoid of specifics and more Trump is bad, elect us, and everything's going to be fine. Now, the Democrats are playing a very dangerous game here, where they're trying to have a replay of 2016 and hoping for a do-over where people hate Trump enough to get Joe Biden and Kamala Harris into the White House. Now, again, I don't have a dog in the fight because as an independent, I see the shadiness of both the Democrats and the Republicans, but the Democrats are basically playing the four corners offense in basketball at this point. They're just hoping that Donald Trump screws things up the next couple of months until November, and that the Democrat, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris can back into the White House. That's basically the game they're playing. They're not trying to appeal to any sort of enthusiasm. They're just basically trying to hope that that anti-Trump sentiment is enough to get them into the White House, because the Democrat National Convention was nothing but we hate Trump, elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and everything's going to be great. Now, it took a lot of revisionist history to make that convention go, because everybody made it seem like Joe Biden is the greatest guy. We love Joe, but they really are hoping that people have really short memories, because it was only a few short months ago that during the Democrat primary, when they had 15,000 candidates, and it was basically Bernie Sanders, who was kind of in the top three, and Joe Biden wasn't even really thought about. But then as things progressed, it looked like Bernie Sanders could really take it. Once they had the Iowa caucus and the New Hampshire primary, Bernie Sanders looked like he was gonna do pretty well for himself. And then all of a sudden, before Super Tuesday, a lot of people started bowing out and endorsing Joe Biden. And then when Jim Clyburn from South Carolina endorsed Joe Biden before Super Tuesday, now all of a sudden Joe Biden, it looks like a juggernaut. It looks like he's going to take over the world. But what happened was, when a lot of the candidates bowed out, then it was really one of two sides. And really what we're looking at here is you have Bernie Sanders, who looks to be more of a progressive leftist Democrat, and you've got Joe Biden, who seems to be the moderate, actually more right Democrat. And so what the Democrats are hoping for this year is they're hoping for the moderate white vote to come out in droves for Joe Biden. They know that black folks in general are not going to vote for Donald Trump, but they're hoping they have enough turnout of black folks and they can swing enough moderate white voters to vote for Joe Biden to get him into the White House. Now, in a perfect world, and again, I do not have a dog in the fight, but in a perfect world, the Democrats would wake up and smell the coffee and see that Bernie Sanders had a lot of enthusiasm. Whether you love Bernie Sanders, hate his policies. Now, economically, I think his policies are really kind of off base, but you cannot deny the fact that Bernie Sanders had an enthusiastic base of people with which to go after. Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump, contest would be a lot harder to gauge than is Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. Because really, in a Donald Trump versus Joe Biden situation, we're basically back where we were in 2016. Nobody likes either one. People can assume, the Democrats are assuming that people hate Trump enough to elect Joe Biden. But again, you're assuming that people are actually going to take the effort to vote. You're really gambling that people are not just so disenfranchised with the whole system that they're just going to go out there and vote. Now, that brings us to another point, that we really, as a country, have to get to a point where we see more than just the two sides. Because 2016 showed us, and now 2020 is showing us yet again, that the two-party system is broken to the core. Both sides, neither side, Democrats or Republicans, cares about the American people. Let's be clear on that 100%. Now, the Democrat National Convention was absolutely trash, as I mentioned. And then the Republican National Convention was really a Trump love fest. It made it seem as if Trump is the greatest president that's ever lived. He's never made any mistakes. Elect Donald Trump again, so that way we can keep America great. Now, it completely misses everything that Donald Trump has messed up on since he's been president, namely the failure to respond appropriately to the coronavirus. Basically has Americans living in the daggone Hunger Games, having to wear masks everywhere and looking like, we're a third world country, whereas a lot of other countries throughout the world have gotten past this COVID situation, but we are in a situation where we're kind of stuck in a rut. And it's really stems from the fact that this administration has had a piss poor reaction to it, and it tried to minimize it at every turn. Said it was going to go away with the heat. Donald Trump has tried to make hydrochloroquine the miracle drug that was going to solve the coronavirus situation, but none of it has worked. And he's basically throwing stuff against the wall, seeing what sticks. And the Republican National Convention, they know what the narratives are against them, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to counter them the best way they know how. And so the Republican National Convention was the best thing they could do is try to scare the ever-living crap out of people and say, well, you won't be safe in Joe Biden's America, while meanwhile they're showing footage of violence and just chaos in Trump's America. So, it really makes you have to shut your brain off to really digest the point they're trying to make. And furthermore, they try to have several black people such as Herschel Walker and Vernon Jones, who used to be the CEO of DeKalb County in Georgia. And they try to make the case that, Donald Trump is not a racist, and, black people should support Donald Trump because, Democrats have taken the black vote for granted. And that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that this two-party system is so broken that we have to shut our brains off in order to make these supposed arguments work. Have the Democrats taken the black vote for granted? Absolutely. But are the Republicans the answer when all they do is cater to a lot of the racist white sentiment that allows Donald Trump to speak outwardly against Mexicans and blacks and Muslims? Absolutely not. Why would a black person vote for Donald Trump when he does everything in his power to make black people feel subjugated to white people? There is no justification for it. You can't make the argument. So, long story short, the Democrat and the Republican National Conventions 2020 were terrible. Donald Trump versus Joe Biden in 2020 is going to be a replay of 2016 with Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. Hopefully enough people come out and vote. We'll see who wins. I don't know who's going to win. And at this point, I don't even care. But anyway, what are your thoughts on the Democrat and the Republican National Conventions? Do you think they were great? Do you think they sucked? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And until next time, keep it real.